Hi there, Jeff here from the Wetsuit Centre, talking to you today about the ONeill Superfreak 5-4 winter wetsuit for fall 2014 into winter 2015. So the Superfreak's been around for a few years now. It's kind of the entry-level chest zip wetsuit from ONeill. So predominantly the majority of ONeill's wetsuits have historically been, and still are, the back zip Zen zip entry, because apparently that's what's more popular in California, which is the sort of birthplace of ONeill. But they have obviously been moving with the sort of flow of people towards chest zip, and they got it really right a few years ago with the Superfreak. It's kind of affordable, good quality, and very, very warm winter wetsuit and summer wetsuit. And it's changed a little bit this year. It's not a huge amount of change, but it's basically got a new entry system, and it's now 100% super stretch neoprene. So same principles, which is value, affordability, durability, and warmth. But with a little bit more of that super stretch neoprene throughout the whole suit, the ultra stretch. And then also you've got the Fuze entry, which is a little bit more stripped down, but looks really good. And this suit comes in men's, ladies, and kids. So three birds with one stone here. Just sort of look at all of the wetsuits. But essentially they are the same suits technically. Obviously the cut is slightly different for ladies, and obviously smaller for kids. So yeah, the Superfreak, what's it all about then? So it's all about affordability and affordable chest zip wetsuit. So those of you that remember the Guru chest zip, it's kind of pretty much taken over from that now, really, in terms of 100% super stretch wetsuit with a chest zip entry. And then the actual Guru has become the Hyperfreak, which is a techno butter wetsuit with a different neoprene. But in terms of the actual thickness of the wetsuit, then you're looking at 5'4". Pretty much all of ONeill suits in the winter range now are a 5'4". So 5mm on the lower body, and it's a healthy 5mm. Not as thick as some of them, but it's a true 5mm, this one. And it's a 4mm on the arm. Ultra flex the whole way through, so very, very soft and flexible. All of the seams are glued and line stitched, and they're all pre-bent to suit the contours of the body to make sure there's no restriction when you're moving your arms up and down and back and forward and whatnot. And that's the same the whole way through. All the seams and panelling of the suit are thought about carefully to ensure there's no sort of loss of flexibility. The suit, as I say, is glued and line stitched, so stitched halfway through on one side, and then glued on the other to seal the wetsuit and stop any water coming in through the seams. And then they also double stitch in certain areas, and then they tape the critical seams as well, where seams join together, like in, I say, 3 or 4 seams joined together. But I'll show you that when the actual suit turns inside out. So 100% Ultra Flex, very, very light, really soft to the touch, and it will feel great against the skin. So previous years you had some of the more Fluid Flex, which is a bit more of a stiffer neoprene in the lower body, but now it's 100% Ultra Flex. The panelling of the suit is quite original. You get these sort of long strips of panel over the hip, which gives a lot of sort of lateral dynamic movement across the hip, so from side to side, which is great for surfing. It's great for everything really, kite surfing, anything where you sort of got a lot of a movement in the upper body and the middle body. It definitely helps with that. And aside from that, that's the standard sort of Duraflex knee pads on the knee, which is a specially treated or specially made sort of material, which is very robust. It doesn't wear through. It's particularly useful on the knees. Okay, and then you can sort of see the panelling around the back of the suit. Minimal panelling, as and where they can avoid seams, they won't put any there. But obviously, with being a slightly cheaper wetsuit, then there are going to be more seams than the top end suits. Smooth skin mesh, which is that sort of smooth material on the front and the back of the suit. And these panels are there to keep wind out of the wetsuit, so they're very wind resistant. And they also indicate where the thermal lining is on the wetsuit as well. So either side of these panels is like a fleecy thermal lining, which we'll show you when you turn the suit inside out. And that's on the front and the back as well. But the biggest selling point about this wetsuit is really down to the entry system. It's the old Fuze zip entry, and basically you can see the zip. It did have a flap over the top of the zip before, but there's no real point because the zip is entirely waterproof. Any water that does get through is met with the actual inside of the wetsuit anyway. So you get the tab over the top, you get the fastening toggle, and then basically the inside of the wetsuit is here. It's brought up nice and high. It's doubled up on the back to allow you to open it up nice and wide so you can get in through the gap there. And then the actual chest zip itself is sewn over the top of it. And any water that comes in through the neck or up through the side, you've got a couple of points where the just a little snip here, where there's just the end it early, just to let the water drain out, and that's the front and round the back as well. Okay, so it's a nice little touch. and then it goes up and over the head, zip across the front, really straightforward, keeps the cost down, works absolutely fine, really good quality suit and one of our top sellers, and really, really warm. It's worth having a little look inside the suit then, and what we'll do, I'll grab the ladies one here, and I'll turn it inside out for you, give you an indication of how easy it is to get on and off as well. Okay, so you've got the toggle here, unfasten the chest zip. Chest zip wetsuits for ladies are getting more and more popular, and the reason was the chest zips are a little bit better in terms of keeping water out of the wetsuit, because you have an unbroken zip around the neck, unbroken collar should I say, so you don't get less chances of flushing through. Obviously the downside is that they are a little bit harder to get in and out of, but we've got a video on our website if you want to sort of a little bit of hints and tips of how to get in and out of one, which are quite useful. But yeah, then obviously you've got no need for a zip on the back of the wetsuit as well, which means that it frees up the back panel of the suit, makes it nice and stretchy. So now we've got the suit inside out, you can see what's happening inside. This is the ladies one. The black neoprene indicates where the ultra stretch neoprene is. So as I said before, there's 100% through the suit, all the way through, and then you can probably see the areas where the suit is taped as well, critically taped, and that's around the sort of junctions and joints where a lot of seams meet together. This sort of like different colour panel is what I mentioned before, it's the thermal lining, and that's basically a tightly knit polypro material, and what that does is it retains heat inside the suit quite well. So as heat leaves your body, instead of the heat being lost through the neoprene slowly, this just helps it sort of retain that heat inside of your wetsuit for a bit longer, and it's used just on the core to keep your sort of organs and the core of your body nice and warm. You can get that front and back. Benefits of that material as well, it's quite quick drying. Okay, so that's pretty much the Superfreak inside and out. Comes in a few different colourways, comes for men's, ladies and kids, and it's pretty much one of our top selling entry-level chest zip wetsuits every year. Really robust wetsuit, it will last you a long time, and you won't be disappointed.